upset alert time. The 1 to 10 scale, the upset alert concern meter is back, powered by our friends at Flex Power. Oh, by the way, myflexpower.com, that little 3,300 iWatt generator over there, flying off the shelves, as it should be when they power us, especially upset alerts. Indiana at Iowa. You saw what they did. Everyone saw what they did. I feel like I may be deposed as a witness because I watched what Indiana did to Illinois last week. And they're favored by 7.5. And Purge. The Purge got the monitor again. They're favored by 7.5 at Iowa. And I'm not all that concerned. I know I should be. I know what conventional betting logic says. Forget about betting, I know what college football logic says. There's a progression and a regression to the mean. Yeah, but I don't know that math and logic has really meant Iowa football. How does this happen? How does Indiana get beat at Iowa? This needs to be such an ugly game for Iowa. Iowa last week, they played against Rutgers. They won and covered, which is great news, right? They had a special teams touchdown. They had a couple of missed field goals they benefited from. Indiana's a top 20 run defense, too. So, I mean, there is going to come a time here, I regret to inform you, where Iowa's got to throw the ball to win. They're just not that interested in that. So if you can keep Indiana 24 or less, maybe you've got a shot to pull the upset. Anything more than that, you got to outscore them. I just don't see it. I know it happens every year. I know there's this game every year. I can't see it happening, and it happens. But I got to see it. So I'm putting a 4 on the upset alert concern scale here. I just got to see it. Next up, the game will be at, early on Saturday at least, USC at Illinois. USC favored by 6.5. Big character check for Illinois. Just got splattered all over the place last week, and they come home. And remember, I told you in June and July and August, I told you this game was the one for USC. This one is circled, and I have not backed off of that. Even though America's attention may have backed off of this game a little bit, has a little bit less prestige around it, a little bit less glow around it since Illinois got dismembered last week. But you know what? Being embarrassed in this sport does a funny thing to a veteran roster, right? And then you also have the opportunity to just play this game in a phone booth. The old Big 12 or Big 10 stereotype welcoming USC to that party. It's a 9 a.m. body clock kickoff for USC. Here's what concerns me, and here's why I'm going to put a 6.5 on the upset alert concern scale here, but no higher. Luke Altmaier's performance, quarterback there for Illinois, against better teams, it just doesn't scale. So he's a redshirt senior. It's not like there's a lot we have left to figure out about his game. He's got good numbers, okay? 70% completion guy, 9 touchdowns, no picks through the air. It's not that. It's just I am very concerned, like I was last week, as it turns out, that the other guy can score. Okay, last week it was Fernando Mendoza. It was Indiana. This week it's Jaden Maiava. It's USC. I've made my thoughts very clearly known about Maiava and how he's a better fit for Lincoln even than Caleb Williams was. And that's not some hot take. Like, what do I even want you to click on? It's not clickbait. There's nothing to click on. These are just, it's a video. Well, I guess you could click on the video. No one's clicking to hear me say that. I really mean when I say Jaden Maiava is a better fit here. He's operating that offense better than Caleb did. So the point being, you've got to trade shots with him unless you're going to greatly compress this game and you're going to be like 9 of 14 on third downs and continue to move the chains and limit them to like 7 or 8 possessions. And I think you're going to be hard-pressed to do that. USC's more balanced, too. They can run the ball this year. Have you heard? I heard someone predict they're going to run it for 8 yards per carry in this game. It's a little aggressive. Not necessary. I'm going to put a 6.5 on the upset alert concern scale. We don't go to games that are below a 6, so I can't do that to myself. Next up, Georgia Tech plays Wake Forest. Georgia Tech's a 13.5-point favorite. Wake Forest just kind of creeping around, as Wake Forest is wont to do. They played North Carolina State close. That's one compliment I can give them. I watched that game while I was at First Horizon Park to watch the Nashville Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers. Big AAA baseball guy here. Yeah, baseball game was going on. I was watching NC State Wake in the monitor. Yes, I was in a suite. No, I did not pay for it. So that begins and ends the debate there. Georgia Tech has a very unique profile about their offense. It's fun to watch. It's all Haynes King. And that's no disrespect. Actually, I want it to be a little disrespectful to the rest of that offense because I kind of want some folks to pick up the slack a little bit. The problem there is no problem. When Haynes King is healthy and when Haynes King is running the ball well, there's no problem. I don't know that he can just keep doing that. And if there's one week where it's just not there for him, you're in big trouble if everyone just keeps looking to him to bail him out. Wake Forest is 132nd in red zone offense. Or red zone, is this offense or defense I wrote down, Jesse? Yeah, because that's a mess here. Anyway, the point was going to be the same. When it's this early in the season and you're that bad in a stat category, it's still within the realm of possibility that it's just a weird sample size. You haven't gotten a whole lot of opportunities down there. It's just a freak occurrence, and you're actually a lot better than that. And the rest of the season will go on to bear that out. What you want to do is you want to buy extremely low. There is no lower point you can buy in terms of red zone offense than Wake here. So this is the Robbie Ashford experience. You got to sign up for that anytime that you're riding Wake Forest. It's not fun. It's not pleasurable. Immunity to it all. But sometimes you got to do it. I'm just not doing it. This is not an upset alert that I'm buying into. I'm putting 4.5 on it. I trust Brent Key. I trust Georgia Tech. But I will have one eye peeled because that is the nature of the Robbie Ashford experience and the Haynes King experience. Next up is a game I am petrified by. Hey, wait just a second. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. Kentucky at South Carolina. This game's in Columbia. It's in the cockpit, but it is not Cocktober yet. Cocktober cannot get here soon enough. My goodness. This line's 5.5. That counts home field advantage, people. So what we're saying here is there is less than a field goal gap between these teams on a neutral field. And I agree. South Carolina cannot run it right now. They've got poor wide receiver depth, which was my biggest fear, that I was told was going to be a moot point by certain message board posters that have let me down. I don't even know that the players have let me down, Jesse. I think some of our friends on the Carolina message boards have let me down. Sellers is relying on explosive plays, and when they work, they're great. The problem is the favorite here in this game, South Carolina, is 122nd in total yards, 130th in rush yards. I'm not feeling great about it, man. I'm not feeling great about it. There's a lot. I'll continue. There's a lot that points to Kentucky here, just to be frank with you. Kentucky can run it. That is the weakness of the South Carolina defense right now. You just saw Kentucky limit South Carolina. Not South Carolina. They could do that Saturday. They limited Ole Miss at home. They just played them a couple of weeks ago. Notably, famously, Lane failed to cover for us. I'm concerned. I'm putting a 9 on it. I think they could win outright. Kublik's got this game, I believe. So Kublik went up there a couple of weeks ago, thought he was going to see a great game. Vandy, South Carolina, turned out not to be the case. Maybe this is the great game. It comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it's a 9 for me. That thing could easily go the way of Mark Stoops in Kentucky. He's good for one of those per year. Next up, Ohio State's at Washington. There's been a weird kind of defensive energy all week from my Buckeye friends. I've been saying stuff like, man, y'all are going to love Seattle. Have fun. And they're like, Buckeyes by 90, bro. I didn't even make a point about the game. Calm down. You just won a national title 15 minutes ago. Why are you so edgy? It's not Michigan. That was wrong. But, hey, they've made me look like a fool 4 years in a row picking them. So this is Washington. You should go up there and win. But how would it happen if you didn't? Well, Julian Sayan's first road start, not easy. This is definitely not an easy place to play. You got the quarterback edge on the side of Washington. You got home field, obviously, there. If Ohio State starts slow, which you would think, oh, they're coming out of the bye, they won't. Well, they did when they played Nebraska last year. Coming out of the bye terrified me. So there's a little bit of precedent here for a Ryan Day team stumbling out of the bye week. These are still two new coordinators. Matt Patricia doesn't need to prove anything else to me, but you just never know. There's still a lot of newness on this team. Just beating Texas doesn't magically green checkmark everything to the end of time. It just means there may be some flaws, maybe some relative deficiencies that Texas didn't expose. Who knows? Maybe you got to go on the road for them to be exposed. Maybe there is no deficiency and Ohio State wins by 30. But that doesn't make this segment fun. I'm putting a 6 on the upset alert concern scale here. Now, I've talked to Ohio State fans all week. There's no world where they can even envision this upset. I know that. I get it. It could happen, though. I'm going to put a 6 on it. It could happen. And lastly, this is a Friday night game. That's why we're doing it last. Florida State's at Virginia. Now, we've had Florida State power rated down a little bit still in the JP poll, not to be confused with the commissioner's poll. And then we've had Bama in the top 5, right? Now, the JP poll is just neutral field favorability, doesn't care what your resume is. You don't earn anything. It's just who would be favored against who on a neutral field. And everyone's been like, why do you still have Bama way ahead of FSU? Why isn't FSU way higher? Well, it's because Bama would still be favored by over a touchdown against Florida State. And then I pause, and they're like, bro, did you not see the week 1 game? Not only did Bama get beat, they got embarrassed. You're telling me, if you gave me Florida State plus 8+ on a neutral field against Bama, I'd take it all day. Hey, I may as well. But that's not the point. The point's what the line would be. Anyway, if you want evidence of that, it's on the board this week. You want to know what an odds maker's opinion of these teams respectively is. Bama's going to Georgia, and they're less than a field goal dog. FSU's on the road at Virginia, and they're less than a touchdown favorite. I can promise you if Bama's in Charlottesville, something's gone horribly wrong. But if they're in Charlottesville, they're a double-digit favorite. Just to give you an idea relatively of how this stuff works. Having said that, how does this happen? How does Florida State not win this by double digits? This line is not a typo. FSU minus 6.5. Now, here's what I want to make sure that you understand, because a lot of you are thinking like me. A lot of you are saying, bro, this line's all out of whack. Here's how you know it's hard to bet above 50%. You're saying that and you know nothing about Virginia. So how do you know the line's out of whack when you don't know anything about half the participants in the game? Now, who is Virginia? They're already over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. Virginia and pounding the rocks, it's not stuff we're used to saying in the same sentences, sentence I, plural of sentences, or sentence. But they are. Chandler Morris, veteran quarterback, probably not going to New York City in the Heisman conversation, but a veteran quarterback. And for all the hype, this is like highlight mode. Everyone's mind in the modern age thinks of highlight mode. When I mention Tommy Castellanos, you think Bama game. Good. Yeah, I watched it too. He looked great. Okay, that's assumably his ceiling. What's his floor? We don't know. We haven't seen the Tommy Castellanos floor game. Now, if we don't see it Friday night, this is a moot point, but it's got to be out there somewhere. I guess that's how this would happen. I got Florida State winning this thing comfortably, so I'm putting like a 5 on it. But, you know, they are going to play the game. At last check, they are going to play the game still.